Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to the Comptia Security Plus course, Securing Mobile Devices. Unfortunately, smartphones, tablets and other mobile devices can be the victims of attacks as well. Attackers might choose to abuse your service or use your device as part of a larger scale attack and possibly to gain access to your account information, though mobile devices can be considered computers. And most of the information mentioned in this chapter and previous chapter applies to them as well. There are some other things we should consider specifically for the mobile device. Users of mobile devices should be careful who they give their phone number to and should avoid listing their phone numbers on any websites, especially when purchasing products. Train your users not to follow any links sent by email or by text messages if they are unsolicited. If they're in any doubt in the user's mind, then it is best to ignore the communication. Explain the issues with much of the downloadable software such as games and ringtones to your users. Use a locking code passwords gesture that's hard to guess. This locks the mobile device after a specific amount of time has elapsed. Use complex passwords when necessary. For example, if required by company policy. In general, mobile operating system software must be updated just like desktop computer software, keeping these devices up to date, and there will be less chance that they will be affected by viruses and other malware. You can encrypt data in several ways, and some organizations have policies that specify how data will be encrypted. It should be noted that some organizations will use the term portable electronic device, which refers to any portable device that can store and record data and transmit text, images, video, audio and so on. Devices in the portable electronic devices (PED) category include laptops, media players, e-readers, gaming devices, cell phones, pagers, radios, audio devices, fitness devices and so on. However, for this book we are most concerned with smartphones and tablets and refer to them as mobile devices. Malware. If it's not just Windows that you have to worry about when it comes to malware. Every operating system is vulnerable, some less than others. Historically, in the mobile device marketplace, Android has proven to be somewhat of a stomping ground for malware. For example, Gin Master Trojan steals confidential information from the Android device and sends it to a remote website. Viruses, worms, rootkits and other types of malware are commonly found in the Android OS and are sometimes found in iOS and other mobile device operating systems. As with desktop operating systems, mobile operating systems should be updated to the newest version possible or the point release for the version installed. AV software can also be used. Newer models of mobile devices come with built-in security programs. These programs should be updated regularly and configured for optimal security. Care should be taken when tapping links with emails, text or social media networks. Personal or organizational information should never be shared on social networks and should usually not be stored on the mobile device. Botnet activity. Mobile devices can be part of botnets just like desktop computers because they are more easily accessible than desktop computers at this point. They make up a big part of some of today's botnets. A mobile device can take part in the launching of distributed denial of service (DDoS) attacks, or inadvertently join in and with a click fraud outfit, or could be part of a scam to get users of their mobile devices to send premium rate short message service SMS messages. And that's just the beginning. Methods of preventing a mobile device from joining a botnet without a user's knowledge are similar to those mentioned previously concerning malware. Great care should be taken when downloading applications. The user should make sure that the apps are from a legitimate source. Also, rooting or jailbreaking the mobile device is not recommended. The programs used in conjunction with routing the device are often malicious or are closely aligned with other malicious programs. In addition, a mobile device with custom firmware, also known as custom ROM, is more susceptible to root access from would-be attackers and botnets, not to mention that over-the-air OTA firmware updates might not work anymore. If it appears that a device has become part of a botnet, that device should be wiped either by a hard reset or other means. SIM cloning and carrier unlocking. Another attack on smartphones is SIM cloning, also known as phone cloning, which allows two phones to utilize the same service and allows an attacker to gain access to all phone data. V1 SIM cards had a weak algorithm that made SIM cloning possible with some expertise. However, V2 cards and higher are much more difficult, if not impossible, to clone due to stronger algorithm on the chip. Users and administrators should be aware of the version of SIM card being used and update or the entire smartphone if necessary. There are techniques available to unlock a smartphone from its carrier. Users should be advised against this, and the security administrator should create and implement policies that make unlocking the SIM card difficult, if not impossible. Unlocking the phone SIM is SIM-free effectively makes it off-grid and makes it difficult to track and manage. When the SIM is wiped, the International Mobile Subscriber Identity IMSI is lost, and afterward the user cannot be recognized. However, the security administrator can attempt to blacklist the smartphone through its provider using the International Mobile Equipment Identity IEMI, electronic serial number ESN, or mobile equipment identifier MEID. The ID used will vary depending on the type and age of smartphone. Regardless, as a security administrator, you would rather avoid the tactic altogether because the damage is already done, so protection of the SIM becomes vital. Wireless attacks. Anytime a cell phone or smartphone connects, it uses some type of wireless service, whether it's 4G, 3G, GSM, Wi-Fi, infrared, RFID or Bluetooth. Security implications exist. To minimize risks, the best solution is to turn off the particular service when not in use. Use airplane mode or simply turn the mobile device off altogether if it's not being used. Bluetooth is especially vulnerable to virus attacks, as well as bluejacking and blue snarfing. Bluejacking is the sending of unsolicited messages to Bluetooth enabled devices such as mobile phones. Bluejacking can be stopped by setting the affected device to undiscoverable or by turning off Bluetooth altogether. Blue snarfing is the unauthorized access of information from a wireless device through a Bluetooth connection. Generally, blue snarfing is a theft of data, calendar information, phone book contacts, and so on. Ways of discouraging blue snarfing include using a pairing key that is not easy to guess. For example, stay away from 0000 or similar default Bluetooth pairing keys. Otherwise, Bluetooth devices should be set to undiscoverable only after legitimate Bluetooth devices have been set up, of course, or Bluetooth can be turned off altogether. Wi-Fi has many vulnerabilities as well. Not only should mobile devices connect in a secure, encrypted fashion, but also the security administrator needs to keep a sharp eye on the current CVEs and available updates and patches for those vulnerabilities. For example, there was a flaw in the programming of a well-known Wi-Fi system on chip SoC. The firmware had a vulnerability that could result in buffer overflows, which could then be exploited by an attacker connecting remotely via Wi-Fi, ultimately allowing the execution of their own code. Sometimes SoCs are not properly vetted for vulnerabilities, and so security administrators must be ready to patch at a moment's notice, and this applies not only to smartphones and other typical mobile devices, but just to about any devices in the Internet of Things that have built-in Wi-Fi connections. Theft. More than 100 mobile devices end up missing, often stolen every minute. You can imagine the variety of reasons why this is. The worst attack can be perpetrated on a smartphone or tablet is theft. The theft of a mobile device means possible loss of important data and personal information. There are few ways to protect against this loss of data and recover from a theft of a mobile device. If it does happen first, the mobile device in an organization should utilize data encryption. The stronger the encryption, the more difficult it is for the thief to decode and use the data on the device. If at all possible, use full device encryption similar to Windows BitLocker. The actual conversations on phones can also be encrypted. Voice encryption can protect confidentiality of spoken conversations and can be implemented with a special micro SD chip preferably, or with software. Mobile devices should also be set up for GPS tracking so they can be tracked if they are lost or stolen. The quicker a device can be located, the less risk of data loss, especially if it is encrypted. However, GPS tracking can also be a security vulnerability for a device and possibly the user if an attacker knows how to track the phone. The beauty of mobile devices is in their inherent portability, that the ability to track SIM cards. Administrators of mobile devices should consider remote lockout programs. If a device is lost or stolen, the admin can lock the device, disallowing the would-be attacker access. In addition, the device can be configured to use the 3 strikes and you're out rule, meaning that if a user tries to be unauthenticated to the device and is unsuccessful after 3 attempts, the user is locked out. Taking it to the next level, if the data is extremely sensitive, you might want to consider a remote wipe program. If the mobile device is reported as lost or stolen, these programs can remove all data from the phone in a bit-by-bit process, making it difficult, if not impossible, to recover. This is known as sanitizing the phone remotely. Of course, a solid backup strategy should be in place before a data sanitizing or remote wipe solution is implemented. Screen locks, complex passwords, and taking care when connecting to wireless networks are also important. Through a screen lock won't deter an audible attacker, it will usually deter the average person. For example, finds a stray phone sitting in a coffee shop, mall, or other public location. User training should be implemented when users first receive their device. Though many organizations don't take the time to do this, it is a great way to show users how to secure their device while checking whether their encryption, GPS tracking, and other features are working properly. They can also be trained on how to inform your organization and local law enforcement in the case that a device is lost or stolen, effectively reducing the risk of data loss by allowing you to find the device faster or mitigate the problem in other ways. So I'm going to leave it here today for this video. If you like listening, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.